Hullbridge, devlog number 7. I'm Starck Pierre-Benjamin, the current game designer for WeAreBots, and today I'm with
Adrien Ufferte. I am the CEO and lead developer of WeAreBots.
Yes, most of the time. So in part 1, we will study player stats. How do we implement them? How do they affect the player?
Yeah, and in the second part we will talk about items and item generation.
Yep, that's it for this week.
Yes, let's move on to part 1.
Absolutely. Part 1, player stats. So we have two kinds of stats, the public stats and the hidden stats.
Yeah, so the name is quite explicit, but let me explain the public stats.
Mm-hmm.
The player must be aware of his hunger, his thirst and his morale, for example. It's okay because it's understandable for someone to be aware of his hunger and his thirst and his morale. You don't suddenly die of hunger, right?
Yeah, you realized that before.
A little. It gives the player some control and awareness on his situation.
Yeah.
But the hidden stats are quite the opposite, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing, hidden stats are things such as walking speed, interaction speed. All of those, we don't show them for immersion's sake, basically. Since you're not supposed to know that in real life, you know you run fast, but you don't know exactly how fast you run, except if you use some tools to check that. The second reason is we want a guessing game active for the player. We want it to question his decision. So let's take an example with a disease, right? So as a disease, you will know this is a severe disease, this is a minor disease, but you won't know such thing as you will die in 6 hours. You don't know that. And in real life, you don't know that too. So you will have a little bit of tension, a little bit of a guessing game regarding the hidden stats. So that's basically it regarding the stats of the player.
Yeah, that's all.
Let's move on to part 2.
So part 2, items and item generation. So an item can fit in many categories. For example, hunger, thirst, morale, or repair. But let me split those categories. From one side, you have hunger, thirst, and morale. We just talked about it. That's consumable. That's items you use for your own, and materials are items you use to repair the ship. Yeah. To repair the hull breach, to repair the broken machines, to repair everything. Yeah. We have a lot of materials items, but we have also a lot of hunger items, etc. Yeah.
All those items, we keep them in special places. We call them containers. They happen to be everywhere on the ship, so we talk about it with the emissive and stuff. So you can interact with those things and you can find the items in it. Yeah. How does that work?
And the way it works is with a random list. So when you have a room, for example,
the cabin?
The cabin, yes.
Oh, okay,
the cabin.
Right.
In the cabin, you have a closet, and this closet you can find items in it. So the closet has a list of items that can be inside, but they are not always in it because there is a random check. And for example, you can have 2 apples or 3 apples. You can have 0 bacon or 1 bacon. And so it's possible you have 3 apples and 1 bacon, and the cabin next to you there is 2 apples and no bacon.
Damn.
That's totally unfair.
Leave that cabin right now.
So that's it. For each container in the game, we had to make a list by hand and saying to this container, okay, here are your random chances of random objects.
And that's basically us creating an entry for each item we want to have in the container. So let's say for the apple and the bacon example, we may have 1 apple at 100%, so this one will spawn every time. Yeah. 1 apple at 80, 1 apple at 50, and the bacon would be around 85. So each at the creation of the ship may have a chance to spawn or not.
We can also have an apple with 200% of chance to spawn, and there will be 2 apples.
That's magic.
That's magic.
So, regarding that, why we choose this solution to populate the ship with items, it's a lot actually more difficult than just putting the item in the container, but We wanted some amount of random, so the player will have another experience if he loads a new game. And at the same time, we wanted to control a little bit of this random, so you don't get frustrated because you enter the ship and you had many bad rolls on many containers and you end up with something you can't play with. So we absolutely want to avoid that, right?
Yeah, right.
So that's it for part 2. See you next week. And that's it for this week. We've seen how do we use character stats and how do we use items to interact with them. How do we generate items? So this was overall a big devlog. Next week we will see
the wound system in the first part.
Absolutely, and a cryptic one we will see environmental clues. Yes, indeed. Goodbye. See you next week. It will be good. Bye.
Bye.